In this video, we will search, sort, and load more items using React. There are two ways of filtering items like this, in the frontend and also in the backend. The difference between these two pages that look similar are this. If we inspect element and click the network tab, when we search in the backend, we will filter the items, but we will send also a request to the backend. So these are filtered items. We can sort by the price in ascending order. We can see they are in ascending order. Also, the sort is sent in the backend. Also, we can load more items, and we can send the same request to the backend. So this is how backend filtering will work. In the frontend, it will be the opposite. If we inspect this time, we won't send any request to the backend because everything will be done in the frontend. So as we can see, we don't send any request. So in this tutorial, we will see how do we do filtering in the frontend and also in the backend, and we can compare the difference. Before we start building the app, I would like to remind you that this video can be combined with other videos. So if you want to use React with all these backend frameworks, with also these two databases, MySQL or MongoDB, I provided some links in the description of this video. If you don't want to use them, don't worry, I have a solution for you. Now let's start building the app, but also make sure to check scalablescripts.com. Now let's use the backend without actually building it. So if you already build the backend, you can skip this part. If you don't want to build a backend, then first download Docker and download the right version for your machine. Once you download Docker and installed it, you can use this repository. I will clone this repository and I will open my terminal and run git clone this repository. Now it is cloned. Let's go to the folder, and here I will run docker compose app -d. And this will pull all the images and it will build our backend. Now let's wait till this is completed. So everything is ready now. We created the images. Still we need one last command, which is this command. I'll copy it, paste it here and run it. And now our backend is running on port 8000. So go to localhost port 8000, and this is our backend running in Laravel. Now let's start building the app. Now let's start creating the app. So to create the app, run npx create react app. I'll call it React Search. Let's wait till it's completed. Now everything is created. I'll open the project using my IDE. I'm using a WebStorm here. And to run this app, open the terminal and run npm start. And now our app will run on port 3000. So this is our running React app. Now let's add a template for this app. So go to getbootstrap.com. Click get started, and I will copy this CSS. I will add this CSS link to our index.html and I will paste it here. Now that I pasted it, I will close it, and now I'll remove the test.js, and in our app.js here we'll add the HTML, which is in the examples, the album example, but we will not copy everything, so we will copy only parts of this code. So the parts that I want to copy is this div class album till the first column, so just this part. So I will copy this and I will remove everything. I will keep one closing div because we need to close some divs. And now everything is correct. Also make sure to change class to class name if your IDE doesn't change it. My IDE does it automatically change class to class name, but if yours doesn't, you have to change them all. I'll remove this logo and this other import here. I'll remove also this CSS, also this one. And this will look like this. Now let's add also a navigation header. So I'll go back to Bootstrap and in the snippets, I'll go to the headers here and I will copy this second header here. So I will inspect and I will copy directly from the elements here because it's really hard to copy if we view the page source. So I will copy this and I will wrap everything with another div here. So I need to paste this and I will cut this other div just to wrap everything with a single div. And this will look like this. Now let's make the changes that we need. So this will become the links to our frontend and backend. So this will become frontend and this will become backend. And it will look like this. Now let's add these pages. So first I'll create here a directory, pages, and I'll create two components. So frontend and backend. So these are the two components. So I'll create the React state component like this. So I have a shortcut, but if you don't have it, you have to write the same code here. And I'll create also another component. So instead of creating another folder, I'll create it here. So this will be called products. So, or actually I will create a component. So let's move it to the components directory. And I'll create also the same component with this. So in the products.js, I will cut this part here. And I will paste it to the products. So it will be here. And these products will be used in the frontend and also in the backend. So instead of the divs, I'll return the products component. Don't forget also to import the products component. So I will add the same thing for the backend. And what I will add here is we need to install a package called React Router DOM. So let's install it. npm install React Router DOM. Now that we installed the package, we need to import two things from this package. Import browser router and route from React Router DOM. So now that we installed it, and what I will do with this browser router is I will replace this div with the browser router, and here we'll add the routes for this backend and frontend pages. So a route we need to add here the path is /frontend. For the component, frontend. Don't forget also to import the component. And the same thing for the backend. And the component is backend. Also, don't forget to import it. And right now it won't show anything because we are the main path, but let's change also these links. So I'll change this anchor link to a nav link. Also, don't forget to import a nav link from React Router DOM. And this will point to /frontend. Let's add a nav link as well here. This will point to /backend. So why nav link instead of link? Because when we are at the frontend page, it will attach the active class in this class name, and once it attaches it, it will add this style. So now we are switching between frontend and backend. It shows this product here, and let's make a difference now. So the backend and the frontend. So let's start with the frontend. We have to get here the products from an API endpoint. So products, set products. We will use the state here, use state, and the default value will be an empty array. So we got the products here. Let's import also use state. And to get the data from the backend, we have to use effect. Also, let's import use effect. And we need to send a request to the backend now to get the products. So to do that, before I do that, I need to add an empty array here as a dependency, because we need to call it only once. If we don't add this, every change that we make in our app, it will call a backend. So we don't want that. I'll create a function that calls itself, and inside I will make an asynchronous function, because now we want to send an asynchronous request to the backend. We cannot do it here because this is not allowed. The way to do it is like this. So now we'll get a response from the backend, which is equal to await fetch, and the endpoint is http localhost port 8000 /API /products /frontend. So this is the endpoint that will return all the products. Now let's get the content, which is equal to await response.json. So now we got everything. This content is what we want. So this will return all the products. So we have to set other products here to the content. And that's it. We got the products now when we set them here, and we need to pass them here to this products component. So inside the props here, we will pass the products. So products is equal to these products here. Now that we got the products from the props, we can loop them here. So what I will do is call props.products map product, and we will return an HTML here, which is this HTML. So let's cut this and paste it here. Now let's make some changes. So let's remove this SVG. This is an image with the source is product.image, and the height is, I'll put it 200. So this is the image. This here is the title, product.title. I'll remove these buttons, and this here is the price. So I'll put a $sign product.price. And that's it. So this is our products component. And if we see the front end, we can see all the products are here. So we are showing all the products. Let's do the same for the backend. So I'll copy all of this and paste it here. And instead of calling API/product/frontend, we'll call the backend here. And the difference is that right now the products are paginated if we call the backend, and the products itself will be inside the data property. So we will set them like this, and we will pass the products here as well. So if we go to the backend, we'll see also products here, but there are less products. So these are 9 products because they are paginated. Now let's start by adding the filters that we want. So let's add in the products, we'll add another HTML. So I will wrap another div here. So inside this div, I will paste this HTML, and I will close the div like this. So this is just a search button with a select. So it will look like this. Also for the front end, since we are using the same component. Now let's make the search work. So we want to search here and to filter the products based on that search. So first we have to emit the event from these products here. So to do that, we have to add an onChange here, onChange, and we'll create a function here, search. And when we change, we'll get an event, and we'll call that search function. Inside we'll pass this event.target.value, and inside this search we will pass a search variable. So now we want to send this search value to the other components, and we will do it like this. So props, we'll make a function here, set filters, and inside the filters we will pass this search value as it is. So we can do it as is equal to s, but I will pass it like this. So we have this set filters, and we have to use it in these products here as well. So first let's create the filters properties. So filters, set filters are equal to use state, and the default state is an object where we have an s string initialized as empty. So we have this, and we can pass here the filters, and we need to also call set filters, and we will call the same function. So this function was called in the products, so was this function, and here we set this value. So we set the value as here. Now I'll copy this, paste it here, and the same things I'll copy them, so the filters and the set filters here as well. And now let's start with the backend. So how do we filter the products when we change the filter? So when we set the filter here, this value will change, and we want to call the backend again. So there is an easier way to do it with the React. which is using this dependency here. Right now we are not depending on anything, but we want to depend on the filters. If we set the filters here, we will change this value, so we will call useEffect again. And when we call it, we need to send another request. So what I will do with the request is I will create here an array which is equal to an empty array. If filters that the s value is set, then I'll push array push and the value is search is equal to filters.s. So why I did it like this, so you will see it later. I pushed this search, and now I'll change this to backticks here. And the endpoint is question mark, and I will add here array join with the end sign. So it will be more filters than this search, so we have to sort also paginate. It makes sense to create an array for all these values and join them with this sign. So with this, let's try to search in our backend here. So let's try to search with this quas word here, quas. As you can see, the values are changing. So if I search with this other word, we can see less items. So indeed we are searching right now, so we are sending request to the backend. So if we check the networks tab, we'll see that every time we make a change, we'll send a request backend and the search value here. So we search in the backend. Let's do the same for the frontend now. So how do we search in the frontend? We don't want to call this function again, since we got all the products in the first call. So I will duplicate this and I will name them differently. So these products will be all products and set all products, and this other one will be filtered products, and this will be set filtered products. So when we get the response here, we'll set all the products, and also we'll set the filtered products, so they are the same value, filtered products here instead of all the products. So why did I do it like this? So this useEffect will be called only once, but we'll use another useEffect because we can create multiple useEffects, and this useEffect will have dependency on the filters. So we stored all the values to all the products in the beginning, but once these filters changed, we have to use this other useEffect, and we have to filter by all these products that we stored in the beginning. So I'll create a variable let products, which is equal to all the products, and now we want to filter. How do we want to filter? So this will be product.title. I'll apply a function here to lowercase. So we want to convert it to lowercase, and index of filters, the s string, also this should be to lowercase, should be greater or equal than 0. So these are the filtered products. So we will filter them where the title to lowercase contains this string to lowercase. So the index of this string is greater or equal than 0. I'll add also an OR condition here, because I'll copy this again, paste it here, and this will be the same for the description. And that's it. So we got these products here, and now these are the filtered products. So we'll set here filtered products to these products. And like this, we filter in the front end. So let's see. Let's filter by this quas word, quas. And as we can see, we are filtering also in the front end. So if I search also with this, so I will search this word, but uppercase now. And as you can see, uppercase works as well. So this is how search works in the front end and in the back end. Now let's sort. So let's go back to the back end, and here we will have another value, which is sort. Also, I will initialize this with an empty string. So I'll add it here as well. In the products now, we need to add an onChange here. So onChange, we have to sort. So let's create also another function, sort, and this will accept a sort value. And once we have the event, we'll call here sort with event.target.value. So like this. I hope this sort doesn't get confused with this one. And we have the value here, which there are two values. One is ascending, one is descending. We'll set the filters again. Here we don't have the search, we have the sort here. But still we don't want to change the previous value of the search, because when we search now and also when we sort, we don't want to change the previous values. And this way I will use the spread operator now, which is props filters, like this, because we send also the filters in the products component. So with this we keep all the values as they are, but we change only the sort. I'll do the same also for the search here, because when we search we also want to keep the sort as it is. So we send these events now. The sort is also sent, and now what do we want to do in the backend? So same thing, copy this, paste it here, sort here, and this is sort filters.sort, and that's it. So the backend is taken care of. So if I go to the backend now and I want to sort with price ascending, we can see the first item has a price of 10, 12, 12, 13, 18, etc. So the items are sorted. If I sort descending, 99, 98, etc. So the items are sorted. Let's go to the front end and let's sort there now. So we will go here now and let's first sort ascending. So if filters.sort is equal to ascending, then we have to call the products sort. We have this built-in function. This accepts two products, A and B, so these are products, and I will do it differently. So this we have to return here either, so I will make a comment here, either -1, 0 or 1. -1 we should return when the price is lower than B price. So A price should be lower than B price, then we have to return -1. If they are the same, we have to return 0. If A is greater than B, we have to return 1. And when it's descending, we have to return the opposite. So we have to return 1, 0, -1, sorry. So we can do it in multiple ways, but I know a better way, which is to create a variable called diff. And this is a difference between a.price minus b.price. And if the difference is equal to 0, then we return 0. So we've taken care of the equal price. What happens when the price changes? So we have to return -1 if this is greater, and 1 if this is greater. So I'll create another value called sign, which is equal to math, the absolute value of the difference, divided by the difference. So if this is greater than this, difference is positive. If this is lower than this, the difference is negative. So this will return either -1 or 1. And in the end, we will return the sign, like this. So let's go to the front end and let's sort ascending. As we can see, we are sorting all the products ascending. So it works fine. Now let's take care of the descending order. So we'll add an OR condition here. Filters that sort is equal to descending. And what we want to do here is do it like this. So till here everything is the same except for the return right now. So filters that sort, is it equal to ascending? Question mark, then we will return the sign. Otherwise we'll return -sign. So this is in case we want to also attach the descending part. I hope you understood this part because it involves a little bit of math. And now if we want to search descending, it works as well. So we can sort ascending and descending in the front end as well. And now the last part is the pagination. So let's go to the products. Here I will add another button. So let button, and we will set the button to be equal to this HTML. And I will show the button here on the bottom. And this is just a lot more buttons. So when we click this button, we want to get more items. So let's do it now. So we will add an on-click. And I'll create the function load. And when we click, we want to change the page, but before we have to set the page in the backend and frontend as well. So page 1 here. So the default value, and also for the frontend, the page default value is 1. So we will send the page in the products, and what we want to do when we set the props is same thing as this. We'll keep everything as it is, but the page should be equal to props filters page plus 1. So we will increase the page by 1, and when we click, we'll call the load function. So that's it. Now what do we want to do with the page in the backend is really simple. We just call filters.page here, and the page is here. And the page will be sent in the backend, but this won't work. I will show you why this won't work. Now let's click load more. We can see the items are changed because they changed the colors, but there are still 9 items. So we are moving to the next page, but we are not attaching them to the previous products. So to attach them, when we set the products here, we have to attach them like this. So we still have our products. So I will spread the products, and I will spread also the content.data. This is the merging of these two arrays. So with this it will work. So we are 9 items here, click load more, and as we can see we are loading more items. Still we have another problem. If I search right now, we are getting also more items and we are not going back. So why does this happen? Is because now when we search and when we sort, we have to make another change, which is we have to set the page back to 1. Because when we call the second page in the backend, it will return only the second part. So the items only for the second part. It won't return the items from the first page, second page, etc. That's why that doesn't work. Also, so we reset the page here to 1 once we sort and we search. Also, if the page is equal to 1, we don't want to concatenate it like this. So I will make a condition here. If filters.page is this equal to 1? If yes, then we will just have the content data here. Otherwise, we will merge the products with the new products. So in the beginning, we'll just return the content data as it is. So with this now, the search will work also with the pagination. So we are getting more items here, and if we search, we can see we are still searching. And now we can search. So I'll search these items, I'll sort them in ascending orders, and we can load more items. So there are no more items, but if I type only F, I sort descending, we can get more items. So later we will remove this button. So this is how the pagination or the lazy loading works in the backend. Now let's go to the front end. Here we have to define how many items per page do we want. So I will create a variable per page, and I want 9 items per page. And in the end here, when we set the filtered products, we have to add a slice here. And the slice is from 0, which is in the beginning, till filters page times per page. So in the front end is easier. So let's go to the front end now, but we still in the beginning we're seeing all the items. So I'll add this slice also when we set the filtered products. So with this we filtered all the products in the backend, so we can click load more here, and we are loading more items. So that works. Let's see if the search works. So the search works as well here. We can sort and also paginate at the same time. So this is cleared in the frontend as well. So the last change is when we go to the last page, we want to remove this button. For this, we have to create also another variable here, which is the last page. Set last page is equal to use state, and the default value will be 0. I'll copy this and add it also to the backend. So the backend response, we will get also the last page here. So when we set the products, we can set also the last page like this. So last page is content last underscore page. So with this, we set the last page, and we want to pass it here as a property. So last page is equal to last page. With this, now let's make a condition to remove this button. So this is really simple. Let's wrap this with an if condition. If props filters page is different than props last page, then we will show the button. So if they're equal, so the current page is the last page, then we will remove the button. That is the condition, and let's add it also to the frontend. So let's first test it in the backend. Go to the backend, and I will search with these words. So we have a lot more here. Click more, and we loaded more items, but we can see the button is removed right now. So we reached the end. If I remove a word, we have the button more times till we reach the end. So the load more works well in the backend. Let's make it work also in the frontend. In the frontend, we have to calculate ourselves the last page. So once we set all the products here, we have to set also the last page, which is equal to content data, which are all the items. So I have to use math again here. Math seal content.data.length. So these are all the items, the quantity of all the items divided by per page. So this is the last page, the length of all the items divided by per page, and we want an integer. We have to set also the last page when we filter here, so we have to do it here, because if we, so I have to change here the content to the products, and this will work fine. We have to do it here, not here, because we will filter, we will slice the products here. So do it before we set the filtered products, and we'll set here the last page is equal to last page. So do we have a problem here? Length of undefined. So not sure why I added data here, since I use directly the content, so my bad there. And we are at the front end here. Let's load more here, and the button is removed. So as we can see, this works well here. So this is how we search, sort, and lazy load using React. And we've seen how to do it in the backend and also in the frontend. I hope you liked this tutorial, and if you did, please also share it and subscribe. Thank you.